we have a couple minutes before we begin. My name is Clint. This is Ashtanga Yoga. A number of you had mentioned to me after last week's class about some shoulder issues. Well, I have shoulder issues too. And a couple of ways that I try to keep my full range of motion. I learned it from a physical therapist over at Aviv clinics in Brownwood. But if you go up against the wall and just go spread eagle on the wall, get your nose literally, well, just maybe a quarter inch off. And then with your arms both really extended, begin to make circles on the wall. And when you get over here, make sure your nose stays at just about the right place. Obviously, you'll have to come away from the wall a little bit, but keep it as close as you can. And do like 5 revolutions on both sides. And you can really feel this all the way around because your scapula is moving in a big circle, which is your scapula is your shoulder socket. So you want to do the one side and then the other. And then, as I always say in yin, you want to do it the opposite way because you use different muscles. And you can really tell. And if you end up with some tension or some resistance, pause there, linger there. Let your muscles relax a little bit and take a deep breath if it's triggering a nerve. Take a deep breath and then let it out. That will calm your nervous system and relax your muscles. And then when you're ready, continue on. And don't linger here. Don't try to wind up and fly. But in my office, I do this in one place because we have too much stuff on the walls. But anyway, I can actually see on the flat paint, I'm not through the paint yet, but so anyway, just be aware of that. That's a good way to start up a class, particularly this one. I'll turn this down a little bit loud. Okay. Last week we started with going through Namaskar B. Today I just want to show my version of Gustasana, which is foot, big toe pose, and then Padmasana, and that's foot, hand pose. But the first standing pose is to give relief to your shoulders, your wrists, and your forearms from doing all the vinyasas. So you start by hopping your feet apart and then come up. And I should be warmed up doing this. But anyway, you come over. Boy, I really should be warmed up. Tell you what, why don't we just stop once we get to that point? And, we can do it together, kind of as a workshop, and then we'll continue on. How's that? Sure. Okay. And get up off your butts. Okay, come to the top of your mat. Get your feet about hip width apart. Raise your toes, separate your toes wide, lace your toes back down. Inhale your chest high, shoulders up, roll them back, and down. Isometrically draw your feet toward each other, engaging all the muscles of your legs. Take your upper inner thighs, rotate them towards the back of the room, and then tuck your tailbone under, tilting your pelvis back. That gives your lower spine that nice reverse arch that it is intended to have. Lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. That's this back part that's directly over your spine. That tucks your chin in just a little bit. And from here, begin to breathe in and out through your nose. And then when you're ready, begin to engage your bandhas. First, your Mula Bandha, your pelvic floor muscles, your Kegel muscles. And then engage your Uddiyana Bandhas, your lower abdominal muscles, halfway between your navel and your pubic bone. That forces your breathing up higher in your chest. Now your gaze should be off at the horizon without a real focus point. Alternatively, you can have your eyes closed. And then begin to engage your Jalalahara Bandhas, the back of your throat. Close off your glottis. That will slow down your breathing, actually hastening the flow of air from your nose into your lungs. As that opening is closed down a bit, you begin to sound like Darth Vader or a seashell at the sea. Engaging these three bandhas warms your body. And on your next inhale, bring your arms out and up overhead, palms together, and then let your arms float all the way back down. Again, in and up. Exhale, float back down. One more time. Inhale, arms up overhead. This time, exhale, swan dive all the way over, bringing your fingers or your palms to the mat. Your knees can be bent a little or a lot. And with each inhale, begin to straightness your legs. If you did a lot of walking or running this weekend, maybe your hamstrings are extra tight today. Listen carefully. On your next inhale, come up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out, raise up overhead, and hands to Samastitihi. Again, inhale, arms out and up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe your legs are straighter this time. Let's spend the next 5 breaths here. Maybe walking out your legs, stretching one hamstring and then the other. With each inhale,
Straighten the legs. Each exhale, see if you can bend forward a little bit more. 4 and 5. On your next inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Palms together, and then hands to Samastitihi. Inhale, arms overhead, and pause here. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Bring your weight into your left foot. And then begin to side bend to the right. And as you do, come up onto your right toes to make sure that the weight is in your left foot. Keep that left elbow over your ear. You don't want to be coming forward into a twist. Want this to be a pure side bend. And 5. Inhale, come all the way back up. Change hands. Right foot, weight, and side bend to the left. Now use your breath here, breathing into your side body to create a little bit more space. Inhale, come all the way back up. Let your arms float all the way out, all the way over, swan dive down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. This time, leave your right hand on the mat in front of you, and on an exhale, take your left arm up, overhead, and a side twist. Remember, you're always trying to get your shoulder blades vertical. So tuck that right shoulder under, draw that left shoulder back. And 5, release that left arm all the way back down. Inhale that right arm all the way up. Exhale that right arm all the way down. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samastitihi. Okay, so we're done with a little bit of a warm-up. So let's get into the Namaskar A's. Come to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and pause here. For about 10 breaths. You can always come down onto your elbows or drop your knees. Draw your upper arms in towards your shoulder, towards your chest. Rotate your hands isometrically toward each other, fingers. Whenever I start talking, I can't count. So on your next exhale, come all the way down. Put your toenails down. Your hands are next to your chest. Inhale, lift up into Cobra. And then exhale, curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Walk out your dog. Stretching one leg and then the other. More hamstring work. A little bit of glute. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. to front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samastitihi. Now, it'll be all one breath, one movement. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back, climb. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest. The more you push your heels down towards the mat, the more stretch you get on your hamstrings. 4 and 5. Between your hands, hop, step, or float. Front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samastitihi. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Drop your chest between your shoulders. Your shoulder blades will kiss. 4 and 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samastitihi. One more. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. As you rest here, think about how much fun you'll have in Namaskar. Between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead and hands to Samastitihi. Okay, so Namaskar B. So start off in Tadasana. On your inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up into Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot turns out. Right foot steps forward. Inhale, rise up to warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Immediately, right foot turns out. Left foot comes forward. Up into warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And slow down your breathing. And 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, drop your seat. Raise your hands up to Utkatasana. Continue rising up. And hands to Samastitihi. Check that out. Going to do another one, but we'll pause in warrior one. Inhale.
drop your seat, raise your arms up. Exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to planks. Down halfway. Inhale up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot steps out. Right foot comes forward. Inhale, rise up to warrior one. Check out your posture here. That right knee should be over the top of your right ankle. 4, 5. Exhale, lower your arms out to the side and then come behind you. Interlace your fingers, push your palms down, raise your chest up, and exhale, humble warrior. As your chest comes down, maybe you're parallel to your thigh. Your hands go up towards the ceiling. As you're opening up your shoulders, and 5, release. Bring your arms all the way back up to warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out. Left comes forward. Inhale, rise up to warrior one again. I always have an issue with my right pinky toe wanting to come up. My teacher trainer used to always step on my foot. So I'm quite aware of that. 4, 5, arms float down and out. Interlace your fingers the wrong way, the opposite way. Press your palms down, lift your chest high, and exhale, forward fold. Bringing your chest on the inside of that left knee. Crown of your head down. Your gaze is back towards your right foot as your hands go up to the sky. 4, 5, release. Bring your arms all the way through and up to warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up to the chair. Rise all the way up. And hands to Samastitihi. Okay, so now we're going to do that Gustasana. Foot, big toe. The pada is foot. Gusta is your toe. So from here, pop your feet wide. Inhale your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. And maybe you can grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Maybe not. Inhale, come up halfway. Maybe you can gaze towards the horizon. And then exhale, forward fold. The important thing here is to keep your spine straight. Now, if you can't reach your toes, your knees can be bent. That's an alternative. Or you can bring your hands to the front of your thighs. Whatever is best for you. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. and hands to Samastitihi. This time it's Padmasana, foot to hand. You put your palms underneath your feet. And again, for years, I might be able to get one knuckle under. But whatever is good for you works. There are alternatives, and I'll show those too. Inhale, the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. From here, reach, pick up one foot and bring your palm underneath the sole of your foot. Maybe your big toe can come all the way to your wrist crease. That's still a challenge that I can't make, but you can do as well as you can. Your knees can be bent, but try to straighten out your legs. Inhale, lift up halfway, putting some tension on those arms and shoulders. And then exhale, forward fold. You can bend your elbows, drawing the crown of your head down. And if that's too hard, you can always just grab onto the backs of your ankles and draw your head down. But try to keep your spine straightish. This is not yin. 5, release. Inhale, come up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. Hop your feet together. Lower your arms to Tadasana. So now we have optional Vinyasas. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, push forward to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Drop your chest between your shoulders. 4 and 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float in front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead and hands to Samastitihi. Now we come to triangle. So for triangle, come back to Tadasana, then take a giant step back with your left foot. Left foot faces the side of your mat. Right foot still off to the front. Both legs are straight. Bring your hands to your hips. Make sure that your hips are square to the side, along with your shoulders. Now, bring your left hip forward just maybe an inch or two. Your right hip back an inch or two. Bring your arms out into T. Gaze over your front fingers. Now drop that front hip. Lift your back hip. Then on an exhale, begin to tip your triangle and try to keep your shoulders vertical. The biggest challenge here is to stay vertical. It is so much easier if you round your spine a little bit, make this into a twist. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up. Look towards the side, rotate your feet. And then take your hips, do that little tiny bit of a twist. Drop the front hip, lift the back hip high, and then come into triangle on this side. Now your hand doesn't come down to your foot unless you're exceptionally flexible. Maybe it comes to your knee. Maybe it comes mid-calf. 4, 5. Inhale, come all the way back up. Rotate your feet towards the front of the room. Step that left foot in just a little bit. Arms still in T. Rotate, bring your chest towards the front of the mat. And then maybe you can rotate your chest towards the right. From here, For a revolved triangle, maybe you can drop that right hip, lift the back, left hip, and then begin to try to bend over that right knee. And if that doesn't work, just bring both hands down onto your shin. Make this into a simple hamstring stretch. 4, 5, inhale, come all the way back up, arms to T, rotate to the side with your feet, rotate your feet to the back, rotate your arms to, and then to the left. Maybe this side you can get a little bit more of a twist, and then exhale, revolve triangle or waterfall. The left arm can be up in the air, or it can be behind your back. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up. Rotate your feet and look towards the front of your mat. Step forward into Samasthiti. Arms drop to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale up dog. Exhale, down dog. And enjoy this down dog. Use this to push your heels away. Stretch your hamstrings. In 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti. Then to Tadasana. Next pose is side angle. So on your next exhale, giant step back with your left foot. Right foot stays forward. Arms into T. Bend that front knee. Coming into warrior 2. Now, you can bend that right elbow and then bring your right forearm down on top of that left thigh. And bring that left arm up over your left ear, reaching towards the far corner of the ceiling of the wall into side angle. Alternatively, your right hand can come all the way down onto the mat if that's within your practice. 4, 5, inhale, straighten that right leg, coming back up, arms to T, rotate your feet to the other side, bend that left knee, and then side angle on the left. And make whatever adjustments are appropriate for you. And inhale, come all the way back up, straighten your leg, rotate your feet to the front of the room. This time, you may want to stretch out the length of your pose, bend that front knee. We're going to do prayer twist. So that left foot can actually turn in 45 degrees or even all the way to the front. Bring your arms so that your chest is to the front. Try this a little different this time. Bring your hands heart center to begin and then twist to the right. This way you can figure out which is easier for you. Bend that knee. Then hook your left elbow over your right knee and try to get your shoulders vertical. Really push on that left heel, keeping that left leg engaged. And 5, release. Inhale, straighten out your legs. Come up, reverse your feet, adjust your foot locations. Bring your chest towards the back of the room. From here, hands to heart center, twist to the left, and then right elbow over left thigh, the prayer twist. Four and five, release. Inhale back to center, straighten your legs, come up, bring your chest towards the front of the room, step forward to Samastitihi, then down to Tadasana. You have an option for another Vinyasa, should you choose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to planks. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And five. Work between your hands. Hop, step, or float to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samastitihi. Now we have we have Prasarita. So from here to Tadasana, giant step back with your left foot again. Look towards the side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, your chest high. And then exhale. Begin to forward fold. Push your hips back as your chest comes forward. And ultimately, you want the crown of your head coming down towards the mat. You can bring your fingers down to the mat whenever you wish. Hopefully your fingers are pointed in the same direction as your toes. Four, five, and then exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift all the way back up using your legs. Move your hands to the back of your hips so that your thumbs are pointed towards your spine. Inhale, lift your chest high, and exhale, begin to forward fold. As you draw your elbows toward each other, your shoulder blades should be kissing. As you come over, your gaze goes past the mat and towards the wall or the horizon behind you. And five. On your next inhale, use your elbows to help draw you up. Bring your arms out into T. Inhale, chest high. You need to do something with your hands. So bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers however you wish. Push your palms away, or push your fists away. Inhale, chest high. Exhale, forward fold. And as the crown of your head comes down, your wrists and your hands go up towards the ceiling. You're stretching your groins here and your hips, some of your inner hamstrings, and your ankles. Five. Inhale, use your hands to help draw you all the way back up. Bring your arms out into T. Inhale, chest high. Exhale, forward fold. Get your arms out. And as you come forward and down, maybe your hands come to your legs. Maybe you can grab onto those big toes. But the crown of your head is the constant, trying to get towards the mat.
And the mat is just the direction, it's not the goal. And 5, release, inhale, rise all the way back up. Bring your hands to your hips. You can heel toe your feet together, or maybe just hop your feet together. Step to the front of your mat. Come into Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5, between your hands, hop, step, or float. In front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Namaste. Okay, so now we have we'll do another series, standing poses, Utthita, which means extended Gustasana, extended foot, big toe. So start with your hands on your hips, feet hip width apart. Spread your toes and let them down, giving you a bigger base. Bring your weight into your left foot. Begin to bend that right knee. Bring that right foot up and grab onto that big toe with your peace fingers. And then straighten out that leg towards the front of the room. 4, 5. From here, maybe you can bring that leg out to the side, maybe not. If you can't, you can always use a strap or just reach that leg out. Try to get your toes vertical. Make this into a 5-point star, or just with your hand helping your thigh. 4, 5, release, foot down. This time, come back to Tadasana. Raise and lower your toes. Bring your weight into your left foot again. Lift your right foot 1 inch. Straight leg, and on an inhale, lift that foot straight forward. You can lean back. Use your arms to keep you vertical. If you fall out, that's fine. This is practice. And release back out. Step that out. You can really feel what that does for your ankles and your strength. That'll help with balance. Inhale. I'm sorry, we need to do the other side. I just want to do more vinyasas. Okay, back to Tadasana. Weight into your right foot. Lift your left knee. Your left peace fingers to your big toe. And then straighten-ish that left leg out towards the front of the room. Your other arm does what it needs to keep you vertical. 4, 5. And maybe you can just rotate that leg out to the left. One side is always different from the other. 3, 4, 5. Release. Step that foot down. Back to Tadasana. Lift your toes, place them down. Weight into your right foot. Lift your left foot 1 inch. And then on an inhale, bring that foot forward. Like you're insulting the person in front of you. And 5, release. Step that out. Back to Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Enjoy this last down dog. Four and 5. Look between your hands. You can walk, hop, you can drop your knees, however you want to get with your seated down with your feet forward. Coming into Dandasana. Bless you. Get your feet hip width apart or close together, doesn't matter, but toes vertical. Straighten your heels away. And if your palms can't come right next to your hips without difficulty, maybe bring your fingers or your palms back a few inches. We have 5 more breaths here. And this is not a relaxation pose. You're lengthening your spine, lifting the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, pushing your heels away. And 5, release. From here, you can do a partial vinyasa or a bump up. You can cross your ankles, bringing your knees really high, coming in. Maybe you need to extend your arms. You can use a block underneath. Inhale, lift up, and then bring your feet forward. Padmasana, A and B. So from here, inhale, your chest high, then exhale, forward fold, grabbing onto your feet, the tops of your feet. Now your ankles can be, or your knees can be bent a bit. That just means that you've worked really hard and well to achieve super tight hamstrings. This pose stretches those hamstrings and stretches your spine, as well as your shoulders here. In 5, on an inhale, release, come all the way back up. And exhale, forward fold right away. Make a bind across the bottoms of your feet. Maybe you can just grab the outsides of your feet. It changes the pose. Your gaze should be down at the mat. Your collarbones are being drawn towards your feet. Crown of your head towards the far wall. And your knees have nothing to do with the pose other than work to stretch your hamstrings. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Ready for another bump. Cross your ankles, lift your knees high. On an inhale, bump up. Bring your feet forward. Okay, so now we have reverse table. Bring your footprints to the mat, about hip width apart. Bring your hands behind your hips. Tuck your tailbone under. that will tilt your hips back, your pelvis back. And on an inhale, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. And when you get here, draw your heels towards your hands, your knees towards the front of the room. And notice how much higher your pelvis rises. And 5, release. Carefully lower your hips back down. Cross your ankles again for another bump, should you choose to do it. Inhale, bump up. Feet out forward. Coming to Janus Asana. Left leg is straight, right leg is bent. Your right footprint is up against your left inner thigh. Inhale your spine tall. Exhale, forward fold over that left leg, grabbing onto your toes with both hands. Keep both hands the same distance. That will stretch the right side of your body a little bit more than the left. And that is intended. Notice how your right knee is drawn down by gravity, opening up that hip a little bit. And 5, release. Inhale, all the way back up. Exhale, forward fold. Make a bind across the bottom of that foot. And again, it's your collarbones going towards your feet. Crown of your head towards the far wall. 4, 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, bring that right heel up. Bring it on top of your left thigh. Maybe you can bring it up to your hip crease. If you have pain or sensations in that right knee, don't do this pose. You certainly don't want pain. Some sensation is fine. Inhale tall, and then exhale, reach for your foot. You might not get very far on this, but what you're doing here is you're opening up that right hip a little bit more. And 5, inhale, come all the way back up. Right foot goes out, meet the left, and the left knee, left sole into your inner thigh, chest high. Inhale and exhale, reach for your toes. Both hands are about the same distance apart. And if you have a question on that, just hook your thumbs together. 4, 5. Inhale, release. Sit all the way back up. Exhale, forward fold. Reaching for a bind this time. Chest, your collarbones towards your foot. Notice your glutes are engaged on this. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way up. This time, bring your right or your left heel into your right hip crease. And if one knee is more tender than the other, just be aware. Inhale tall, exhale forward fold. And if this doesn't work for you for whatever reason, if you have a bony foot for the day, put a towel under it. In 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Left foot goes out to meet the right. And bend both knees. Bring your heels in towards your sit bones. Inhale tall. And then on an inhale, bump up. Bring your feet out. Okay, we're reaching. Fun pose. Left leg stays straight. Bend your right knee.
Your right heel comes up towards your right sit bone. The first part of this pose is a forward fold, getting your chest and shoulder inside that right leg. So you can grab onto your right toes with your right hand if you wish. Inhale tall and exhale forward fold. And again, you're looking to get the crown of your head forward, your collarbones towards your foot. Maybe that right shoulder can come in front of that right shin. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, left hand onto your left knee. Right hand behind your back. Lift your chest high. This is going to be a right twist. Inhale tall, and then exhale, twist to the right. Now maybe your left arm can get in front or on top of that right thigh and give you a little bit more to push against, to rotate your shoulders a little bit more. This is definitely a twist. And 5, release. Inhale, come back up. This time, bend that left knee. Bring your left heel up next to your right sit bone. Then relocate your right heel up against the instep of your right foot. So now you're in a little bit tighter position. Inhale your spine tall, bring that right hand again behind your back, reaching the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, because the more length you have in your spine, the more you twist. Think about it, more space in between your vertebrae. Inhale tall, and then twist to the right. And possibly you can get that left arm all the way around your right leg. Make a bind with your left hand around your back. There's no grimacing in yoga.
I don't understand that though, that bind.
I'll show you a picture.
I can do
And
the
then
other way.
exhale, come back to center. From here, both legs out in front. Bend your left knee. Bring your left heel up to towards your left sit bone. This is the forward fold. Inhale tall and exhale forward fold. Reaching for that right foot with your right hand. And maybe on this side, your shoulder comes in front of that left shin. 5, release. Inhale, come all the way up. Sit up straight. Right hand on left knee, left hand behind you. Lift up tall. Inhale and twist to the left. Exhale, release back to center. Then your right knee, bring your right heel next to your left sit bone. Your left heel on top of your right instep. Sit up tall. Try to get your right knee all the way down onto the mat. Inhale tall, and then twist to the left. And 5, release. Come back to center. Bring both legs out in front together. Then bend both knees. Cross your ankles. Raise your knees high.
Ready for another bump if you wish. And inhale, bump up. And kick your feet out in front. Here, we're going to do 3 boat poses, Navasana. So bring your footprints on the mat, about hip width apart, or they can be together if you wish. Grab onto the back of your thighs, and then lean back. This will allow your spine to be straight. And that's the most important thing about Navasana. And then on an inhale, just lift your shins up so that they're roughly parallel. And you can stay here, or you can release. And release, feet down. Maybe roll your hips or rock your hips a little bit. Maybe do some micro cat-cows. And get ready for the next. Start in the same position, that will get your spine straight. And on an inhale, lift. If you want to straighten out your legs, you can. If you want to bring your arms out to a T, it makes the challenge a little bit greater. And 5, release. Come back down. Now you might be feeling this in your hip creases. That's your hip flexors, main elevator muscles, lifting up your legs. One more, bring your feet to the mat. Get into your position, inhale, lift up. And release when you're ready. And everybody's body is different. And release. Come back down, cross your ankles, lift your knees high. On an inhale, bump up, get your feet forward. Coming into Badakanasana, or butterfly pose. From here, bring your soles of your feet together. They can be in really close to your groins, but they don't have to be. Show empathy to your body here. You're stretching your groins. That's a main target here, along with your back. Inhale, tall, and exhale, forward fold. Using the strength in your arms to draw your head forward, your collarbones towards the front of your mat, the crown of your head towards the far wall. You're not trying to curl up into a tiny ball here. In 5, release. Inhale, come back up. Move your feet out so that you have a rough square between your ankles and your thighs. Inhale, tall. Exhale, forward fold. Your forearms can be underneath your ankles, if that's what you wish. Get a little bit more stretch out of this, doing it that way. In 5, release. Inhale. Rise all the way back up. Cross your ankles one more time. One more bump here. From here, on an inhale, bump up. Kick your feet back out. And we're coming into Padmasana, or Lotus pose. So, again, I've squandered our time. So let's just go to let's do whatever side you wish.
And then next week, we'll do the other side. So bring one heel to your opposite hip crease.
Why not?
What's that?
I will be here next week.
Well, you'll know how to do it. Okay, bring one heel to your opposite wrist hip crease. And you can do this pose, just make it regular Sukhasana with crossed legs. That's perfectly acceptable. But once you get that heel up onto your hip crease, then maybe, if your hips are open enough, you'll be able to get the opposite heel over the top of the other ankle, up towards your other hip crease. And this is lotus pose with your legs. Now, there's a mudra. You can bring your arms out to T. The real mudra is you bring your arms all the way around. My right arm would be grabbing onto my right foot. My left hand would be grabbing onto my right foot. But that will be sometime after my bones are all in different pieces. But make any mudra with your fingers if your palms come together, or grab opposite wrists or opposite fingers, or just bring your hands behind your back. Lift your chest tall, and then on an exhale, I'm gonna exhale for 10 breaths and continue to move forward. Don't just fall forward really fast, but watch your body here. Feel your muscles as they transfer tension to their neighbors. Four. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. On your next inhale, slowly come up. Now, you can do Tolasana if you wish, and that would be lifting up your hips and doing lion's breaths. And if you do, you want to start with your knees really high. Lion's breaths are you inhale deeply, and then you take sips of air. And you go from there. So maybe up to 100. I find that challenging. On next inhale, roll forward. And then when you're done, straighten out your arms, bring the backs of your hands onto the back tops of your knees. Make a mudra if you wish. Inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale. And your gaze can be through
closed eyes towards the horizon, or maybe with your head bowed. And turning inside and observing your body for these 10 breaths. Begin to deepen your breath. Open your eyes. As you untangle your feet, notice the changes in your body. Notice what changes your body will have to make for you. Straighten out your legs to the front of your mat. Bring your hands behind your hips. Push your heels away. Maybe stretching your toes, spreading your toes. And then come all the way down onto your back. Your arms up towards the ceiling. And then rotate them back down towards the wall beyond your head. Give a great stretch between your heels and your palms. Your manicure and your pedicure. And then coming into Shavasana or any other pose you may find beneficial that you did not do. Bring your arms down by your side or out to the side. Your palms up. Maybe separate your feet. Nice comfortable distance for your legs. Roll your hips from left to right to find just the perfect resting point for your sacrum. Rock your head likewise. And find the right spot on your skull. Rest in Shavasana. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and exhale it out through your nose. Take another cleansing breath in through your nose, out through your nose. And take rest. and to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into this space. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes. To your wrists and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. And draw your knees into your chest. Push your hips away. And rock all the way from shoulder and hip on one side to shoulder and hip on the other. Massaging the whole length of your spine. And then coming all the way over onto your right side, pause in fetal pose for just a moment. And do a quick scan of your body to find any hiding tension or stress you might want to address in the class later this week. And then using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away. Rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your Ashtanga practice with me this morning. To start the week with such a challenging class is a great way to get the most out of your week. Take the compassion and peace that you practice every time you step on your mat with you wherever you go, and share it with your family, your friends, and those you might meet. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Ashtanga Yoga. Thanks for coming.